On the news, several feared dead as suspected herdsmen launch fresh attack in Agatu and Apua local government areas of Benue State. FCT Minister Wike meets PDP stakeholders, insists on zoning party's 2027 presidential ticket to the south. And Dangote vows major shakedowns in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. It's a pleasure to have you join us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Atigun. We begin in Benue State, where suspected herdsmen have launched fresh attacks on Agatu and Apa local government areas, leaving several people dead. Earlier in the day, a separate attack occurred in Edikwicho, a community in Apa local government area, where 3 youths were ambushed and killed. The renewed violence comes barely days after the Chief of Army Staff and other top officers visited Benue State following earlier deadly attacks in Gwa West and Apa local government areas. Oluyede had ordered additional deployment of troops and logistics through the state to pursue and dismantle criminal groups operating in the state. Responding now to the fresh violence, Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has vowed to take up the matter as soon as he receives a full report in the coming week. As the political crisis in the main opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) lingers, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has advised the party's leadership to zone its 2027 presidential ticket to a southern candidate. Wike made this call on Monday while reading a communique after a meeting of critical stakeholders of the party. Under the auspices of the concerned stakeholders of the PDP, the governor said chieftains of the party the party elders had resolved that to finally arrest an imminent drift towards extinction, the PDP must, without further delay, respect the judgment of the Supreme Court. He said the stakeholders have unequivocally reaffirmed Senator Samuel Anyanwu as the duly elected and substantive National Secretary of the PDP.
These divisive tendencies, unfortunately, have found expression in the conduct of certain interests within the ranks of our party, both at National Review Committee, the National Working Committee, and both of trustees levels. Consequently, the PDP eminent stakeholders and concerned leaders resolved as follows. 1. That to finally arrest the inexorable drift towards extinction in our party, the party must, without further delay, respect the judgment of the Supreme Court. We therefore unequivocally reaffirm Senator Sam Anyanwu as the duly elected and substantive National Secretary of our great party. In the spirit of fairness, inclusion, federal character principles, and respect for our party constitution, the party must make an unequivocal pronouncement on its presidential candidate to the south in the 2027 election, in line with the provisions of our party constitution. Only the National Secretary, Senator Sam Anyanwu, can issue notices of meeting of National Convention, National Review Committee, National Caucus, and National Working Committee, and to this end, all notices not issued by him and action founded on them, including correspondences to INEC, are null and void and of no effect whatsoever. It is clear from the Constitution that only the National Convention, properly and duly constituted, can remove Senator Sam Anyanwu, the National Secretary, arising from his status as a member of the National Review Committee of the party. We therefore demand that the acting National Chairman and National Secretary jointly issue a notice to INEC with an attached agenda for the National Review Committee meeting of the party, being the only pathway to abide by extant laws.
Let's get further reactions to these statements made by the FCT minister. I'm joined on the news by chieftain of the PDP, Dabo Ikiabo Womit. It's always a pleasure having you join us. And what's your take on Wike's advice to the PDP to zone its 2027 presidential ticket to a southern candidate while declaring support for Senator Samuel Anyanwu as the duly elected and substantive national secretary of the PDP?
Well, thank you for the privilege. Let me start by saying that the communique read by His Excellency by Sayoto Wike is in line with the spirit and letters of our party's constitution, and also the pulse of greater number of PDP members in diaspora and in Nigeria, and also Nigerians. What he has said is what ought to be. In fact, there is no need for the party to delay further in declaring establishing the fact that the president will be soon to the South, number one, and also just like he indicated that the national secretary is the person of Senator Samuel Nnemeka Anyanwu, no other person, because refusal to do that, there is cease to that. People are feasting on the fact that Anyanwu's magnanimity to sign documents in order to make sure that PDP have a candidate in Anambra State has been taken for granted. If he refused today, PDP wouldn't have had a candidate in Anambra State. And we have FCT election coming. So the earlier the party immediately make the pronouncement and recognize him as the national secretary, the better for the party. Because they have also gone to confirm both the Governors Forum chairman, the Enugu State Governor, the Oyo State Governor, the Zamfara State Governor have all gone to INEC to confirm that Netanyahu is the National Secretary, and there was no point in time he resigned as National Secretary, and Section 47(5) did not demand, resignation from him before contesting, and also Section 48(1) does not make it, being the flag bearer of PDP, does not make it him occupying dual offices, because even to the point that even though you are elected and has not been sworn in as governor, it has not been considered that you have occupied dual office following Section 47(1). So what the FCT minister is saying is just a simple truth, and it's germane for PDP leaders to listen and immediately act on the communique of the meeting that was read by the FCT minister.
Are you now convinced that if the ticket is given to a southern candidate, it will guarantee an end to the crisis rocking the PDP?
Of course, two factors. One, the leadership of the party, or the disgruntled members of the party that are fighting the national secretary, that is most especially the Oyo State Governor and the Enugu State Governor, coming up to accept the fact that by all extant laws and judicial pronouncement, Netanyahu remains the national secretary, and also zoning the presidential ticket to the south will resolve whatever tension that is in the party. And anybody that refuses to support Anyanwu should be considered as an agent of APC, trying to destabilize the PDP for the presidency. Simple. That is the simple truth, because the laws are there. We have a grand norm, which is our constitution that governs PDP. So if you cannot abide by that constitution, and if you cannot respect the pronouncement of the apex court in the land, that tells you that that person has issue with himself and not the party, because the party remains peaceful and Anyanwu remains the undisputable national secretary of our great party. And following Section 7, subsection 3C, the presidency should and must be zoned to the south. And I believe that will go a long way, if not almost eliminating the tension in our great party.
Mr. Womit, we truly appreciate your contribution as always. Thank you very much for lending your thoughts and for speaking to us. Moving on, the defection of Governor Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom from the main opposition People's Democratic Party PDP to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC is still dominating political discourse and debate in the state. After weeks of speculations, Umar announced his defection on June 6, making him the second PDP governor in the South-South region after Governor Sheriff Oborowori of Delta State to join the APC in less than 2 months. His switch has been described as a move widely seen as a bid to align with the federal government and secure his political future. TV360's Victoria Konde has more in this report.
Governor Eno, who was elected in 2023 under the PDP banner, announced his shift to the APC despite unresolved wage arrears owed to PDP chapter and ward executives across the state. The defection has been condemned by some chieftains of the PDP in Akwa Ibom and national leadership of the party. Experts say political parties have become platforms for personal gain, and political consistency and discipline are essential for strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
It's a normal thing in our politics, but this one is different because the recklessness with which they are doing it, it's what's making it, different from the days of PDP. It's almost like before we hear of members in the House, it's nothing to do with their politics or the decisions to decide to defect. It's about the Nigerian people. I think it is high time also that we should have a proviso in our law, because certainly there is none on if the Supreme Court has said that the mandate actually belongs to the political party. And if the political party, contest election and that the one that they went to canvass for votes, for a governor to just take that mandate to another political party is a disservice to that party that actually, fought tooth and nail to win it at the poll.
Governor Eno had warned all political appointees in the state to defect with him to APC or resign from their positions. This led to the immediate resignation of the Commissioner for Special Duties and Ibom Deep Sea Port, Ini Obong Obong, from office.
Kudos to the governor, to the commissioner who refused to follow the governor. And for me, when I say kudos, we're in a climb where people hardly resign. And so for him, to his community people by now probably would have been criticizing him. For him to say, look, I have criticized this party for so long, I cannot be seen now, eulogizing or going back to my vomit. And so I would rather, throw in the towel. It's a different kind of behavior and attitude that we see in our politics, and kudos to him. But the thing is, with the PDP, that is almost a falling pack, appreciate this kind of human beings. Would they give them responsibility at the national level, to be able to at least thread the party together? I doubt that. That's why the party is crumbling the way it is.
Just recently, President Tinubu received the endorsement of APC governors to be the party's presidential candidate in 2027. These mass defections to the ruling party are regarded as part of moves to secure more states during the election.
These are decisions that have to be made with different kinds of calculations. What is happening across the country is in preparation for the next presidential elections. And there's a sign that there are restive people in the north, so APC is shoring up its capacity in the south, the Delta, the Southwest, and the Southeast. It's just political calculation, and it makes sense to show up all the governors, because basically the governors made the difference the last time the president ran for election. So he's making sure he has all the governors. It's a very practical and pragmatic decision that's been made.
2 state commissioners have already declared their support for Eno and joined him in the APC, signaling potential consolidation of political control ahead of 2027. Akwa Ibom, a PDP stronghold since 1999, now faces an uncertain political future. Victoria Akande, TV260 News, Lagos.
Still on party matters, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the 2024 Ondo State election, Agbola Ajayi, has rejected the verdict of the state governorship election petition tribunal and vowed to challenge the decision at the Court of Appeal. Responding to the tribunal's ruling delivered on June 4, 2025, Ajayi expressed dissatisfaction, claiming that the judgment contained glaring inconsistencies in the handling of critical evidence and exhibits presented during the proceedings. Ajayi says that although the ruling favored the All Progressives Congress (APC), the PDP remained resolute in its commitment to justice and the rule of law. He reiterated the PDP's decision to appeal underscores its unwavering commitment to the democratic process, the rule of law, and the integrity of Nigeria's electoral system. Away from politics, the House of Representatives, through its Committee on Education, has firmly rejected the proposed plan by the West African Examinations Council (WAEC) to commence a computer-based testing (CBT) for its 2026 examinations in Nigeria. The lawmakers have also urged the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, to halt all efforts towards implementing the digital testing model, citing deep infrastructural and logistical inadequacies across the country. During a recent committee hearing, the lawmakers questioned the practicability now of CBT deployment across all states, especially in rural and underserved communities. They maintain that infrastructure remains a major barrier, urging the Minister of Education to personally assess the realities across states rather than rely on reports from the capital.
That you said you have awaiting the CBT examinations in 2026. I would want to appeal that everything should be taken into perspective before you claim capacity. The capacity that you tend to have is like my brother now asking you to go and deliver a parcel in brass. You're a very good driver. You have a very good car, but there is no bridge that will help you get to brass. You cannot tell us you have that capacity. Your capacity will end at the waterside because you cannot get to brass. CBT, no sir. You would have advocated for a national seminar, summit or conference, whatever, on education so that we are sure where we are. You don't have the statistics of secondary schools where you can have this computer-based test. There are entire local government areas without a CBT test, writing jam, none. There are local government areas like that, and you want to do CBT exam. I am appealing to you, do not claim capacity where the infrastructure is not there. Whether the minister has given you a matching order, tell him that Nigerians are not ready. If he doubts you, he should convoke, not the ones they do in Abuja. They should go and find out for themselves and have the statistics of schools that have infrastructure for that exam. We complain every day that the standard of education is being lowered. Then you're asking people to, objective is just like tumbo. Even somebody who didn't read can pass and have A1. Tumbo. So I appeal to you, do not tell us you have the capacity for CBT test.
We'll take a break here. Still to come on News Now. At least 9 people killed, 10 others injured in Austria school shooting. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Let's take you through our main stories. Fresh attacks by suspected herdsmen in Agato and Apa local government areas in Benue State has left several people dead, following earlier deadly attacks on Gwa West and Apa local government areas. Responding to the fresh violence, Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has vowed to take up the matter as soon as he receives a full report in the coming week. We also told you that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has advised the PDP to zone its 2027 presidential ticket to a southern candidate. Making the call after a meeting of critical stakeholders of the party under the auspices of the concerned stakeholders of the PDP, Wike added that the stakeholders have unequivocally reaffirmed Senator Sam Anyanwu as the duly elected and substantive National Secretary of the PDP. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Lamex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Well, let's get some updates on business. Tamilara Kinkwolie has the latest.
Thank you, Samuel, and welcome to Business News. Now, the president of Dangote Group and founder of Dangote Refinery, Aliko Dangote, has vowed that there will be major shakedowns on Nigeria's downstream oil and gas sector. Dangote disclosed this in an interview with journalists after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu visited a 650,000 barrel per day refinery in Lekki, Lagos State. According to him, the overall intent to announce in the country's oil and gas sector is not about petrol price reduction. While not disclosing details of the planned overall, Dangote restated that his refinery would be listed on the stock exchange market this year, starting with the fertilizer company. Still on business, the Russian Federation declared its readiness to assist the Nigerian business community in deepening trade cooperation with Russian companies to bolster the trade volume between the two countries. Russian ambassador to Nigeria, Andrei Podislev, disclosed this while briefing journalists on Tuesday in Abuja against the backdrop of the embassy's preparation to commemorate the Russia Day anniversary on June 12. It said that although June 12 is celebrated by the Russian Federation as Russian Day, it has become important for the embassy to promote knowledge sharing about Russian economic potential for Nigeria's benefit. We'll take a breather here and be back with Stock Market Report. And Nigeria's equities markets kicked off the holiday short-term trading week on a positive note. At the close of trading this Tuesday, the Nigerian Exchange Limited All-Share Index saw an increase of 0.18%, reaching the 114 basis point. Now, this positive movement pushed the market's capitalization to 71.9 trillion naira. Now, the market's gains were primarily driven by rallies in several key stocks, and Berger Paints led the advance, climbing 10% from 20 naira 50 kobo to 22 naira 55 kobo, adding 2 naira 5 kobo to its share price. Similarly, Transat also saw a 10% increase, moving from 6 naira to 6 naira 60 kobo, a gain of 60 kobo. Ledger Internet also contributed to the market upward trend. Now, in terms of trading activities, investors exchanged over 652 million volumes of shares, valued at over 18.875 billion naira across 23,978 deals. Now, globally, stock and the US dollar remain steady. This stability comes as trade talks between the United States and China continued for the second day, offering investors some optimism that tensions between the world's two largest economies may be easing. Now, turning to the foreign exchange market, the naira traded at 1,620 naira at the US dollar in the black market. Against the British pound, the naira was quoted quoted at 2,050 kobo and it traded at 1,720 naira to the euros. And that concludes the business and stock market report. Simi, back to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Tamilare. And on the foreign scene, a former pupil has killed 9 people and then himself at a secondary school in the southern Austrian city of Graz on Tuesday in the worst school shooting in the country's modern history. Interior Minister Gerhard Karner said 6 of the victims were female and 3 were male, and that 12 people have also been injured. The minister gave no further details to identify the victims, but Austrian media said most were pupils. Although the motive for the attack is still unknown, authorities assume the 21-year-old shooter, who was found dead in a bathroom, was operating alone when he entered the school with 2 guns and opened fire. And the United Kingdom has sanctioned 2 far-right Israeli ministers over repeated incitement of violence against Palestinian communities in the occupied West Bank. Both ministers will be banned from entering the UK and will have any assets in the UK frozen as part of measures announced by the Foreign Secretary. The Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs of the UK, David Lammy, said the Finance Minister, Smotrich, and the National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, had incited extremist violence and serious abuses of Palestinian human rights. And on sports, the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) has approved the Sam Okwaraji Secondary Schools Soccer Championships across Nigeria. The approval is sequel to the endorsement of the Senate Committee on Sports Development led by Senator Abdul Ningi. This initiative, which is billed to be an annual event, is an initiative of the Samuel Okwaraji Foundation to immortalize the late Nigerian international who slumped and died at the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos in August 1989 during a crucial FIFA World Cup qualifying match against Angola. And with just 34 days to go, Nigeria is revving up preparations to host the 3rd edition of the Confederation of African Athletics CAA African Junior Athletics Championships, scheduled to take place from July 16 to 20, 2025 in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The prestigious biennial event will welcome the continent's most promising under-18 and under-20 athletes to the newly refurbished MKO Abiola International Stadium, which recently played host to the 22nd National Sports Festival. Over 500 athletes from more than 50 African nations are expected to compete in this year's championship, making it one of the largest gatherings of young athletic talent on the continent. And that's all on news now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.